This is at 50 RPMs, just for reference. Once you've made a glue block, you want to drill 3 holes of the same depth, and they can be spaced out however you want it, but it acts as in multiple ways. Right here you'll see it kind of pressed together, but the function of it is, 1, it sets the depth for your turning, and then 2, it creates an alignment hole so that when you put it up to your glue block, you're exactly where you want to be. I should also note that I waited for the glue to cure fully before I started actually turning it, and I'm spinning between 400 to 500 RPMs. Before I mounted it on the lathe, I laid out a pattern that I wanted, and to do that I just marked the center of my board initially and used a compass to draw a circle around where it is that I wanted my 3 individual bowls to go. I rounded out the edges or the ends of the board initially with a bandsaw because it's just not safe to turn that large of a wing on the lathe. You're turning way more air than you would be turning wood, and it's just a recipe for disaster. So after that, then once I had the whole thing turned, I kind of smoothed out and rounded everything over using a belt sander, and eventually did all the final sanding with a random orbital sander and some hand sanding as well. And here I'm switching from a bowl gouge over to a round nose scraper to finalize the shape and just clean up any small amount of tear out I might have had from the spalted wood. Feel free to sand on the lathe at a relatively low speed, but just be extremely careful, even at 100 or 200 RPMs, whatever you decide to sand at, that wing is very dangerous. I just cut the glue block off on the bandsaw. It was easy. After that, it's just really rinse, wash, and repeat. So you will create a glue block, put the other center up. You can see I'm setting it up there, and then once you finish that, it's onto the middle, and you're going to repeat the same steps. The problem I had was that the pieces that still remained from the glue block were blocking me on the third one, so I just had to plane that off, and then I could move on to the third one, of which I sped up here, so you're not bored watching me spend all the time actually hollowing it out. But there you have three holes, so I'm going to sit down and sand it, and I started at 80 grit and worked my way up to I think 180. I took it over to the router table, and I think I put a 1/4 inch round over on the top and bottom just to give it a smoother appearance. And I sanded off camera using a random orbital sander, and then also did some hand sanding as well. And the part that, of course, everybody, all woodworkers enjoy is applying the finish. For this piece, being a charcuterie board, I just used Howard's Feed and Wax, which is a mix of, I believe, orange oil and beeswax. It gives it a nice satin finish, and it's easy to reapply should you ever need to.